Take the parachute and turn it a little bit to the side so that the nose inlets are exposed. You may use the logo on the end panel as a landmark to help you know where you are at. Now, count out your inlets. This canopy is a 7-cell, so it will have 7 nose inlets. Notice that the fabric is dressed all the way down and is not bunched up. Gently flake the nose cells and place all 7 of them in between your legs, and then it's time to start flaking out the parachute. Notice that we are going to pull out the stabilizers at the top. There's 3 stabilizers on each side. You can trace the seam around the stabilizers right down to the tail fabric. You can see on this parachute that the purple is the stabilizer fabric. Now, if you lift the parachute away from your body a bit, you can look at your lines. Your A-lines come down through the slider grommet and are very accessible here. Since this canopy is a 7-cell, it will have 4 of each line group. If you have a 9-cell, it will have 5 of each line group. Some of the higher performance ellipticals may have less D-lines. The A-lines will be the shortest lines and will attach closest to the nose of the canopy. Grasp all 4 of the A-lines for the side of the canopy that you're working on. This will put your hand between the A and B lines. Now you can take your hand and run it down into the center cell and flake the fabric outward. Here is a view down inside the canopy so you can see what it should look like. Here is an overview of how a reserve static line, or RSL, works. You'll notice that there's a shackle attached to the inside of the riser to the right of your screen. That shackle is at the end of the green RSL lanyard. You'll notice that the riser to the left of the screen separates just momentarily before the riser that the RSL is connected to. This will give the malfunctioning canopy as much time as possible to clear before the RSL deploys the reserve. Finally, attached to the tail are the steering lines highlighted in red. Now, let's travel down the lines to the risers. Here you will see the slider. The steering lines pass through the slider grommets, and then through the guide ring on the rear risers and terminate at the steering toggle. You will notice the yellow cable passes through the locking loop directly behind the riser. As the cutaway pillow is pulled, the yellow cutaway cable is pulled out of the locking loop of the riser. This in turn releases the locking loop. You will see here that the locking loop passes back through the riser and through the small ring of the release system.